can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Eevee and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It is your boy Ernie, the Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell because we're getting really close to 100,000 subscribers. Hook a brother up, hit that button, hit both of those buttons. Matter of fact, hit that like button too while you're at it. It's all free, doesn't cost you a thing, and also helps let YouTube know that you enjoy these videos. So that way they show you a lot more of them because YouTube likes to hide my videos that aren't X-Men related. So yeah, help a brother out here. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Transformers number 12, written by Daniel Warren Johnson with art by Jorge Corona, with colors by Mike Spicer and letters by Russ Wooten. So this is it. This is the end of the second major story arc in the Energon universe for the Transformers. Yes, I know you're probably wondering, wait, Blerd, you haven't been talking about Transformers lately. Technically, I have. I've been doing something a little different. You may or may not have noticed. But what I've been doing is, for some videos where I feel like I just don't really have a whole heap of a lot to say, but I want to talk about, a particular comic, maybe in a less spoilery format, I will do them in shorts. So if you want to go check some of those out, actually, probably will maybe, if I don't know if you can link shorts in a video, but if you can, here, there's one up here, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I've been doing shorts on them for like the past few issues just because, there was stuff going on, but there was nothing just really specific I wanted to talk about. But because this is the end of the second story arc, I kind of wanted to talk about it just a little bit. And I love what Daniel Warren Johnson's doing. He has found a way to make the Transformers the characters that you will remember from the old G1 animated series from back in the 80s. He has found a way to take these characters, make them as lovable, as affable, or in the case of the Decepticons, as, evil and villainous as they were back then, but also find a way to make them more nuanced. And while I feel like some of the nuance I was hoping for with the Decepticons does not really show up in this issue per se, in this issue, the Decepticons are kind of back to being just stock standard villains, but it's largely for the fact that Shockwave is kind of slick calling the shots, even though Soundwave is leader here, but Shockwave is he's definitely got some pull. He's definitely got some pull here. And what I love about this is just this issue is a case study on why the Transformers, the Autobots more specifically, why they are just so relatable and why it's easy to fall in love with them as characters is because, as we see in this, Optimus is not leaving anyone behind. We saw in the previous issue that Ultra Magnus had made his return, that it was revealed that he had been tortured and even psychologically reprogrammed by Shockwave to fear him on such a level that Ultra Magnus won't even try to hurt Shockwave, that he will act out in fear and terror and maybe even go against the Autobots on some level just to not suffer the same pains that he has suffered recently. And we also see in this how, once again, Optimus is willing to fight the good fight, but also he wants to save Cybertron. He also wants to protect Earth. He doesn't want Earth to fall victim to the treachery of the Decepticons just because, his home planet needs help. And it just proves how, Optimus is willing to make those tough choices. He's willing to be the leader that the Autobots need, but he's also willing to be a leader that is not going to put his own people before any other sentient being. That is a very core concept of Optimus Prime, and that is something that Optimus truly believes in. And while he doesn't necessarily say it in this issue, it's his actions that give it away. The fact that he could save Cybertron with the Decepticons on the back foot, them being able to destroy the space bridge and more or less shut down Devastator. He is in a position unique enough that he is able to take the Energon that Shockwave has been harvesting from the life on Earth, and he has a choice. He can either use it to save the Autobots and save Cybertron, which is what Elita 1 wants him to do, or he could get rid of it, because as he says, it's blood Energon. This is a blood price he would have to pay if he were to use this Energon that was literally harvested from the life on Earth. He would have blood on his hands. This is effectively blood money that he is standing before, and he is willing to do what it takes to set things right. It's not going to bring back all the animals and life forms on Earth that have died as a result of Shockwave harvesting Energon from Earth, but it is not going to make him culpable in that. And that is a very Optimus thing to do, even to the point that, yeah, if you say, oh, well, he was being too Optimus. No, he actually slips up in this issue, and there's a point where he's throwing down toe-to-toe with Shockwave, and this fight goes very differently than the one previously where, yeah, Shockwave got some good ones in. He definitely got to hit Optimus with a tombstone pile driver. I mean, that was cool and cute and everything. However, Optimus, he does something that I think a lot of people aren't as familiar with seeing, is that he effectively destroys Shockwave. Like, he actually takes him out. And that's something that I feel makes this series a little bit more interesting to me, and just in terms of the fact that not every Autobot is getting clapped left and right, but there are characters who have been taken out, and we don't just see them immediately come back the next issue. Bumblebee has been dead since issue 1. Ratchet died just a few issues ago, and they are still lamenting his death. And, you know, we see here, well, Skywarp technically almost died, but he hasn't come back yet. He's still attached to Teletran 1 and inside of the Ark, the Autobots' home base. And you see here that, you know, while technically Ultra Magnus, while it seemed like he was dead when he was initially found by Elita 1, he was in fact alive, but he was terribly scarred as a result of it. He didn't come back squeaky clean after that. And here, Optimus just taking out Shockwave, literally crushing his head with his bare hands, doing something that, and I don't know if this is what Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona were going for here, but if it was, awesome. If not, it's probably a happy accident. But it was a scene that was very reminiscent of the Transformers movie, the animated movie from back in the mid-'80s, where Optimus was fighting against Megatron, and Megatron was holding him down, putting his hands around his eyes, saying, I'll rip out your optics, and trying to crush his skull. And Optimus does exactly what Megatron failed to do to him. Even though, none of this is, canon to one another, this is its own separate universe, but I just think that's a nice, interesting touch. Like, it's clear. Like, just if you, like, honestly, by issue 12, if you haven't figured out that Daniel Warren Johnson's a huge fan of Transformers, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. It's very evident from the word go on issue 1, but if you have somehow gotten to issue 12 and you still think that Daniel Warren Johnson is not a huge fan of Transformers, you're cooked, and there's nothing that we can do to save you. Your shit's done. Your shit is done, B. But I love what this issue is setting up. It is setting up what I feel is a awesome status quo change for the Transformers. We have seen that while the Transformers and the Decepticons, while their battle goes from Earth back to the portion of Cybertron that was pulled through the space bridge, we saw that Optimus Prime literally risked his life to go save the people he cared about. He saw Cliffjumper being thrown back through the portal and tossed to the feet of the Combaticons and Shockwave, and he came back to save him. He stood on business. But now the Transformers are fractured, or at least for now. I think it's safe to say that some of this is going to get worked out in the end, but now, because of the actions of Optimus Prime and Shockwave kind of combined, the bringing these portion of Cybertron to Earth, but then also at the same time Optimus destroying the Energon that it was housing, the resulting explosion has caused a portion of Cybertron to fall to Earth. And where that's going to leave the Transformers, and more specifically the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons, I feel like this could only lead to what is a cataclysmic event. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, there's no way a huge portion of a planet, cybernetic or otherwise, falls to Earth and bad stuff just does not happen. But we also gotta think about the fact that who was on those portions of Cybertron, Autobots and Decepticons alike, that could lead to more characters showing up in these next 12 issues. We know that with this issue right here, we're now at the halfway mark of Daniel Warren Johnson's run on Transformers in the Energon universe. I'm not even here to speculate whether or not anyone will take over the book after he walks away from it, but still, the point of the matter is, Daniel Warren Johnson's cooking here, and it's only going to get better as it goes along, as it already has by this point. I think if you go back and look through the previous 12 issues of Transformers, I look at issue number 1 and see something that is a marvel, something that should not exist, a good Transformers comic in 2024 that looks beautiful, that is drawn beautifully, that's well written, reads like a dream. And, you know, each issue since then has only gotten better and better and better and better. Even when Daniel Warren Johnson stopped doing art for the Transformers books, I think like he still does covers, but like he no longer does interiors. Jorge Corona is taken over in that regard, and the book did not lose a single step. So yeah, this is going to be fantastic. And yeah, I highly advise, if you haven't done so already, you need to go check this out. And I'll actually say something that I might try and do this a little bit more, just as, as a reminder for comics that you can do this with. This is a book that you like, Transformers as a whole, you can read these on the Global Comics app. And if you're not familiar with the Global Comics app, it's a digital comics platform where you can read comics. You can either buy the comics individually on their platform, or you can sign up for a 1-year subscription, and that allows you to read everything. And I'll be fully transparent, I am partnered with Global Comics. If you click this, there's a little link in the description for this video. You click on that link, you will get 33% off your first 1-year subscription at Global Comics. You'll be able to read not just the Transformers Energon books, you'll be able to read the books like Scarlet, as well as Destro and Duke and Cobra Commander, Void Rivals, all the other Energon Universe books, as well as other comics from Image, as well as Boom Studios, Dynamite, AWA, Dark Horse just recently got added. I think the only imprints that major imprints you won't find on Global Comics to this date are like IDW, Marvel. And that said, go check it out. I think you will find a lot to like there. So yeah, go click that link. Or if you're on the Global Comics app, if you use my promo code GCX, Blerd Without Fear, you can also get the same deal, the 33% off your first 1-year subscription. So yeah, I just put that out there because I mean, I'm sorry, you should be reading this. There is no excuse. If you are a Transformers fan, you quite literally owe it to yourself to read this book. But in the meantime, speaking of books that you should read, if you have not been keeping up with the recent relaunch of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at IDW, go check out this video right here where I'm talking about either Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #2. Probably Ninja Turtles #1. We'll do that one. We'll do that one. Go check that out. Trust me, if you're a Ninja Turtles fan, you will love it. I promise you, it is chef's kiss. Anyway, until next time, keep it plus ultra out there in these streets. Peace.